I think I'm going to do a simple project today. Just a set of drink coasters and a holder for them. Okay, I got all the coasters sanded to 120 grit. Started with 60, 80, and 120. So they're fairly smooth. I'll have to hit them with my palm sander. I ran around the bark with some super glue gel to stabilize it. Did that on each one. I'm going to let that sit overnight before I do anything else. So while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to put dowels in this piece that I'm using for the base. I have 3 dowels as holders. One here, and one here. And so the pieces will just drop down in there and stay in place. I'm going to cut this base off a little shorter. It's just a little too big. I want this to be something that can sit on a coffee table and don't want to be taking up too awful much room. So I think if I cut it off, give it about 1/4 of an inch overhang, that'll be a good size for it. I re-broke my broken depth stop. So I'm back to using blue tape. I've got an idea for a more permanent fix. Something I'll be working on over the next few days. So my dowel is 1/4 inch. I've got a 1/4 inch bit in. I'm going halfway through my base piece here. I'll be gluing the dowels in so they don't have to be super deep. I don't want to go all the way through with them. Looks like the dowels will actually clear the pieces. Got the holes in the right place, if you can believe that. Since this board is irregular shaped, I've got a wedge back here. It's hitting against the stop block to keep it in place. And that'll allow me to make this cut without board getting slapped back into the fence. I almost forgot to take into account that the end of the board was hitting over here, and when I cut it there was going to be a gap here. So if I had made that cut the blade probably would have grabbed it and slapped that part into the fence and making my cut crooked. That's why I added this second wedge. I just finished up the sanding on my coasters and the holder. I used my palm sander to 220 grit on all the pieces, and then I did the final pass with a sanding sponge and some 320 by hand. Now I'm going to seal these surfaces with a few coats of wipe-on poly. Once I get them all sealed with the wipe-on poly, then I'll come back with a spray and do the bark and the flat surfaces also. I want to be sure they're sealed really well, since they're going to be drink coasters and they'll be getting wet. The holder for the drink coasters is looking pretty good. I'm going to glue the dowels into it, and then I'll be putting one more light coat of poly on the coasters themselves. So no matter what I do, there's a little speck of dust on them somewhere. I have to keep sanding them off. I don't know, a lot of glue in there, just enough to keep it from coming out. All right. And the last coat of polyurethane seemed to do the trick. The coasters are looking pretty good. Pretty happy with the way the base turned out. All that's left to do is apply the fuzzy feet. Yeah, I think that will work just fine. All right. Still need to come up with some way to number them on the back. So they can get put back in the right order, because they really won't fit unless they're stacked up the way that they were cut. Because they don't have to be that precise. But if you put the top one in first, then it doesn't work out. I think it turned out pretty nice. Hopefully somebody can get some use out of them. So I'm calling this project done.